Hey there, it's Chris with Footbridge Media. A leak of internal documentation from Google has the SEO world spinning. Without getting super technical, these are API reference docs. These are the guides that developers use to interact with specific code and programming. The docs in question here are essentially a partial Google algorithm leak about how Google search works. So what can we learn from the Google algorithm leak? How does it impact websites for small businesses, contractor marketing services, and for contractors just like you? As always, if you can like and subscribe, that really helps us out, helps us to share more of this type of content in the future. And if you could, leave a comment, let us know what you think about this video. To disappoint you right off the bat, no, this is not a guideline for how to exploit Google. It's not a recipe to game the system. It's a limited view of specific chunks of documentation. That being said, these clearly were not meant for public consumption. As initially brought to light by Rand Fishkin, most popularly of Moz, and Mike King from iPullRank, these major players in the SEO world, as well as others in the tech community, have vetted for this information as very much appearing to be legitimate Google documentation. This leaked data doesn't have the exact methods of how Google scores and rates one piece of content over the other. It does, however, provide insight into ranking factors, which is a pretty big deal. So what are the key takeaways here from the Google algorithm leak? Let's boil it down to a few interesting points from the documentation that aren't too technical that really any small business owner can understand. The first is domain authority. It's sometimes called DA. Domain authority was a score popularly attributed to Moz in their SEO software, essentially how authoritative is a domain name, for a variety of reasons, link backs and whatnot. Google's documentation makes reference to site authority, which we assume is more or less the same thing. How authoritative is your website? Click-through rate, pogo sticking, and dwell time, also big things to talk about here. This doc refers to a variety of click tracking tools and variables, including bad clicks, good clicks, last longest clicks, and more. The language suggests that such tracking information and click-through rates could be used to determine the quality of a result. If someone clicks on the link, they go to a website from the SERP, and then they go right back to the SERP afterwards to find another site very quickly. That's called pogo sticking. So someone goes to the site, they don't find the answer for their content they're looking for, and they go back out to the search. Conversely, if someone clicks on a link, visits a site, and stays in that site for a while, reading, watching a video, viewing images, etc., that could suggest the content was in line with the user's intent, and that it provided the answer they were looking for. Quality rater feedback in the algorithm. Google uses quality raters, mostly human, although now including some AI services. They use these quality raters to assess the quality of search as they follow the quote quality rater guidelines as an evaluation document. Part of the leak suggests that the feedback from these quality raters may be used more directly in the math and the formulation of scoring content instead of just being used as feedback for how to adjust the algorithm. Google tracks authorship. Google previously went all in on authorship a few years ago, but when SEO spammed it too much, they removed the benefit of having an on-page SERP headshot and byline. While that part of the search went away, the leaked Google documentation does show specifically that they have a way to ascertain and track the author of a piece of content on a website. This may be a further demonstration of EEAT, double EEAT, experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. Those are the factors that weigh both quality raters and the algorithm itself. As pointed out by Mike King and other SEOs that have been dissecting this information, there is a lot here that Google previously denied was a consideration or a factor. They denied it either through inference or through outright statements. Google spokespeople have specifically said things like dwell time doesn't exist, that they don't use clicks directly in ranking, that domain authority is not a consideration, etc. So what does my website have to do to take advantage? Look, there's still a lot of analysis going on here, a lot of stuff being done, a lot of people combing through this documentation. At the end of the day, Footbridge Media's recommendations remain more or less the same. To address some of those previous points again directly, domain authority. You get domain authority over time by having a website that is reputable, as demonstrated by traffic to your content and appropriate website links. That aligns with our current recommendations. CTR, pogo sticking, and dwell time. You can have a better click-through rate with properly worded phrased titles and good content. You can avoid pogo sticking and increase your potential for dwell time by answering your client's questions and concerns with content that addresses a prospective customer's needs, like in service pages, city pages, and project pages. This aligns with our current recommendations. Abiding by quality guidelines. The search quality evaluator guidelines boil down to having content that is reputable as presented by a reputable source with an appropriate website structure that includes everything from having customer reviews as a reputation guideline, having contact and about us type information present on your website, quality content that demonstrates your experience and expertise. Again, these all align with our current recommendations for what contractors should do. Authorship, demonstrating your company's experience and expertise by posting project content using pictures of your actual work, and appropriate support text and testimonial content is key to demonstrating your website's and brand's authenticity. Again, this aligns with what we recommend that you already do. So the too long didn't read is simple. Google doesn't always tell the truth, but if you want to play the game, the only option at this point is to commit to creating the content and site structure that meets a user's intent. A properly fleshed out website that addresses your customers' questions is more important than trying to game a system for short-term success. If you need help crafting a website and online marketing presence that helps to answer your customers' questions and needs, Footbridge Media is always here to help. You can check us out online at footbridgemedia.com, or you can hang out here for more contractor marketing tips and tricks.